I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
Barbara Faversham, in search of her father's enemies, took the law into her own hands and raided Gilbert Sanderson's house for evidence against that character, he being on the continent. As I didn't wish to proceed in the matter, Barbara left a white feather at the scene of her robbery. A reproach to me, of course. Thus, I had to take a hand, and investigations led us to the fact that Gilbert Sanderson was dealing in forged old masters. It was no pretty sight that greeted us as Barbara Faversham and I stepped into the Chelsea studio. Crumpled up in front of an easel lay the young artist, Felix Brassard. He'd been shot in the back. Keep away, Barbara.
But, Rolly, I just can't work out the link-up.
Listen to me for a moment, and don't look.
Oh, I can't listen. I can't think. It's all so horrible.
Listen, I said. Thanks to my expert tuition, you were able to open the safe in the Sanderson mansion. Out of it, you took 20 oil paintings. On first glance, they appeared to be from the hand of the French impressionist Utrillo. But I've just established the fact that they are very clever forgeries.
Yes, I know all that. Mr. Wakely said so.
I just want to get this straight in your head, my dear. Now, you recall that your father had said before his frame-up, which sent him to Dartmoor, that he'd suspected something fishy in the association of the ostensibly reputable Gilbert Sanderson and the, late Felix Brassard, our friend lying there. So far, so good. Or bad. Depends on which way you look at it. Now, imagine, if you can, Sanderson's reaction to finding his paintings, his forged Utrillos, stolen.
I'm afraid I just can't imagine anything, except the dreadful death of this young man.
Keep on listening. You've got to appreciate that we've been led into a murder case.
Yes, Rolly.
I should say that he'd come to the conclusion in double-quick time that someone knew about his little counterfeit racket.
But we didn't. We only stumbled on it.
Admittedly. There's an element of poetic justice in this whole affair. But the cat's out of the bag as far as Sanderson's concerned. In his position, I'd feel that I'd have to remove any incriminating evidence.
You're suggesting Sanderson murdered this man, Brassard?
A suggestion only, Barbara. Now, cast your eyes round the studio. On every hand we see evidence that this place has been searched, combed through in a great hurry.
Yes, of course. Trunks pulled out, things topsy-turvy.
Yes, and stacks of paintings thrown anywhere and everywhere. But not a single Utrillo do I see.
You're right, Rolly. Not a single specimen.
Another strange thing is this. Brassard was apparently at work in front of that easel when the shot was fired.
Obviously, he fell without moving from there.
Yes, and notice this. He fell with his palette still tucked under his left arm.
But there's no sign of a painting on the easel.
Precisely.
Perhaps he was about to work on another forgery.
A distinct possibility, I feel.
You think he was interrupted by Sanderson?
Yes. Mind you, Sanderson being back, finding his painting stolen, might think Brassard had double-crossed him, or might even talk.
That wouldn't be good for Sanderson, would it?
By no means. However, our job at the moment is to wait and see, and first of all, to eliminate any evidence of our visit here.
But, Rolly, we can't just leave him there.
No, of course not. I'll do my usual act and telephone dear old Ben and the stalwarts of law and order. Let's see now. Yes, there's nothing to incriminate Rolland Fletcher and Barbara Faversham. But, of course, the Grey Goose has been here. A small feather token for the keyhole, and then we're on our way. That should interest Inspector Ben quite a little. Again, I must remind you that the other side of these experiences of mine had to come to me much later. But to maintain true sequence, I must try and describe, by hearsay, a scene that took place between Superintendent Blair and our old friend Inspector Ben Ford.
The Grey Goose again. Ford, how does he know all these things?
I'm dashed if I can make it out.
It's over the odds, Ford. How did it all come about?
I don't know. Except the usual voice came through saying that if we called at the address in Chelsea, we'd find something worth investigating.
A confounded goose feather.
There was also, Super, a very dead young man.
Brassard.
A French artist. Been over here about a year, from what we could discover from the few papers we found in odd corners of his studio.
You said the studio had been ransacked before you started on your search?
Hastily but thoroughly, Super.
The Grey Goose, no doubt.
No, I don't think so. The Grey Goose, in my unfortunate experience, leaves no untidiness, only his damned feather. There was, incidentally, a large sum of money there, untouched.
And perhaps he simply took a swag of valuable canvases. Who was this Felix Brassard? A genius, perhaps?
Just a struggling painter like hundreds in Chelsea. From the inquiries I made in the neighborhood, I don't think Brassard's work would have much commercial value to real dealers.
Just a minute, Ford. Were there any paintings missing from the studio?
Well, it's hard to say. The canvas on the easel was untouched. Anything else of any value I wouldn't know about.
Well, the Grey Goose generally helps himself to something. In any case, what was he doing there? Bless my soul. We've got the murder of an artist on our hands, and to make it more difficult, in flies the Grey Goose. Where the deuce does he figure? And what does a white feather want to butt in at Sanderson's place for?
Oh, yes. Sanderson's place.
Well, do you think there's any connection between that and the Grey Goose feathers?
None that I've been able to discover. It may be another super safe cracksman setting up in opposition to the Grey Goose.
Rubbish. What exactly did this white feather chap get away with?
Nothing, sir.
Nothing?
That's what Gilbert Sanderson himself said after he got back from Paris early today. He said he'd left the safe quite empty.
Very odd if you ask me, Ford. I'd say it bears a lot of further investigation.
I'm calling again on Sanderson when he gets back home from his antique shop this evening. You know, I don't think I trust him altogether.
You know, Barbara, I'll hate parting with these paintings, forged utilers though they may be.
They may be too dangerous to keep. What do you intend doing with them, Rolly?
Selling them, and then sending the proceeds off to some deserving cause in the usual Grey Goose tradition.
I adore the sentiment, but don't you think it might be a little difficult and dangerous to sell them? Aren't they what is referred to as hot?
In a way, yes. But my way of selling them makes me feel sure I'll get top market prices.
What is your way of selling them?
Don't be so devilishly persistent. First, I must decide how to get hold of the rest of the forgeries.
The rest of them?
You heard.
What rest?
The swag removed from Brassard's studio. You remember, there wasn't a single painted canvas there.
That's right, there wasn't.
If I'm going to sell 20, I might just as well sell 100 and make a proper job of it.
Rolly, I wish you wouldn't be so cryptic.
Think, Barbara, think. To whom would you imagine I could best sell this booty?
I've absolutely no idea.
An art dealer of, shady character. Gilbert Sanderson.
Sanderson?
Yes, the very man.
Sell them back to him?
Of course. Could he refuse me?
Well, I don't suppose he could if he's...
A murderer, eh?
But you still haven't laid your hand on the rest of the forgeries.
That brings us to the next stage in Operation Sanderson. Tonight, it'll be my turn to sneak into that West End mansion and snoop around. Besides, Ford and his minions are no doubt bewildered at finding that white feather. I'll have to leave one of my personal tokens and put their minds at rest. Thus, an hour or two later, found me at Sanderson's house. And on this occasion I was Johnny on the spot, and heard Ben Ford and Sanderson in a bit of a confab.
You'll excuse me, Mr. Sanderson, but I'd like a further word to you about last night's burglary.
Inspector Ford, I thought I made it perfectly clear. I don't wish to take any action in the matter.
Oh, that's understood. But at the Yard, we feel that there might be some connection between this very mysterious burglary and the activities of a certain fellow who leaves a visiting card.
A visiting card?
A grey feather.
Oh, him.
You know to whom I allude, I see.
Yes, an acquaintance of mine. Bradbury was one of his victims.
That's most interesting, Mr. Sanderson.
How do you mean?
All the various victims seem to be vaguely acquainted.
But I wasn't a victim of the Grey Goose, you know.
Nothing missing, you say? The safe was empty,
It was.
or was it?
Inspector Ford, are you doubting my word?
Please, don't be upset, Mr. Sanderson, but I'm a police officer, and I know the way people sometimes feel. For private reasons, they prefer to have burglaries hushed up, if it so suits them.
I'm not hushing up anything. I might say, Ford, that this is a bit thick, invading my privacy. Man of my standing.
Then your story is definite. The safe was empty.
It was. And furthermore, it's no story.
Very well, sir. But just one further thing is troubling me. That safe is rather large.
You may open it if you wish. You'll find it very empty.
I'll take your word for that, Mr. Sanderson. But let me come to my point. You deal in art and antiques. You carry them around, bring them home. And it seems a little strange to me that such a commodious safe should be empty.
You seem to forget that I was away in Paris for a few days.
Granted.
But if you must know, I have another safe upstairs.
Oh, I see.
And to be quite frank with you, this safe here is my study, is what you might call a decoy.
Of course.
One has to take precautions in my game, as you might well understand.
Oh, indeed. Though some of the precautions are a little difficult to follow. Why, for instance, were you not frank with me in the first place?
Because, as I pointed out when first you called on me, I don't want to take any action about this burglary. I do not want the police to drag me into any fuss and bother.
Very well, then. I'll not cause you any more bother. Oh, before I go,
Yes?
there's just one other thing. Did you know that young artist who was found shot late this morning?
Hmm?
Young man named Felix Brazard?
Oh, I say, why ask me?
Well, after all, Mr. Sanderson, you're an art dealer. Just the type of person likely to come in contact with him.
Yes, well, since you do mention it, I did meet the fellow.
You did?
Yeah, but you'll understand that I meet hundreds of these fellows pestering me with their wares. His work was nondescript, run-of-the-mill. Beyond that, I couldn't say very much. Oh, what's that? That noise, Inspector.
Sounded like something falling heavily upstairs.
Yes, I don't know what to make of it.
And your other safe's upstairs?
Yes, but...
Come on, follow me!
Has Rolland Fletcher picked the wrong time to drop in on the Sanderson mansion? Listen for the exciting developments in the next episode of The Grey Goose.
I have been here.
The Grey Goose. Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
One of my greatest claims to fame is that I always manage to stay a jump ahead of that modern Sheriff of Nottingham, Chief Inspector Ebenezer Ford. I was highly amused at the thought of examining the contents of a safe in the Sanderson mansion, while Ben and Sanderson himself were in the study below. But I was a little too intoxicated with triumph as I hauled the booty out of the safe. Over went a chair, up the stairs came Ben and Sanderson, and yours truly went out of the window and down the ivy, and thence to the fair Barbara, who was waiting with the Daimler.
Judging by the way you ran down the street, Rolly, you certainly had to make a fast getaway.
I'd scarcely time to leave one of my tokens.
You're crazy.
Oh, couldn't have the constabulary misled, my pet. But what a haul! Must be at least another 20 paintings in this bundle.
Are they all Utrillos?
As far as I can make out from glancing at them in my lap. Yes. Forgeries. No doubt about that.
So we've some 40 canvases to sell back to Gilbert Sanderson.
And how he will have to pay for them. But enough work for tonight. Homewards, Angel, and don't spare the horsepower.
I'm sorry to have to tell you this, Superintendent, but the confounded blighter was right above Sanderson and me all the time.
What a nerve the fellow must have.
Yes, we must hand it to him.
No, we mustn't. Next thing we know, Ford, the Grey Goose will be a hero around here. Did you spot him at all?
No. When we got upstairs into the bedroom, he'd gone through the window without letting us get a glimpse of him.
And the upstairs safe had been opened, you say?
Yes. Yet Gilbert Sanderson insists that nothing was missing from it.
That fellow seems to be wearing that particular story a little thin.
So then it's transparent that Sanderson's up to something. I'm positive that from both the safe in the study and the one upstairs, something has been taken. But Sanderson is determined not to tell what it is.
Well, it's confoundedly confusing and frustrating.
At least we know there's a connection between the white feather Johnny and the Grey Goose.
And there might well be some connection between Sanderson and that artist fellow, Brazard, who was found shot in his studio.
I'm bearing that in mind.
Once more unto the breach, dear friends.
Rolly, what now? You press the buzzer, the bookcase swings open, you come waltzing into my flat and start to carry on like Laurence Olivier.
You flatter me. Barbara, my dear, we are about to broach the most important move in Operation Sanderson. I've been out this morning.
I know, and I've been madly curious.
Oh, I simply wanted to make sure that last night's haul did consist of Utilo forgeries. Old Isaac Wakely assures me that they are. Furthermore, he gave me an idea what they might be worth to a man who, say, was a dealer in counterfeit pictures.
I'm curious about that, too.
Well, 40 Utilos on the market at the same time would greatly reduce the individual price. However, I think we may rest assured that not one of the said 40 will reach the open market. Therefore, we charge top prices, 100 guineas apiece.
100 guineas each? Rolly, that means...
Over £4,000 for some deserving cause, such as you and me. And a little bit over for a charity to be named.
I suppose Gilbert Sanderson has the money.
I think he'd better have.
He should have it. After all, there was a packet made over that share fraud, and he got part of it.
And this will be, in a sense, punishment for his part in leaving your dad to take the rap for the whole business.
But about the murder angle, Rolly, that's if he did shoot that young artist.
That must come out in due course. But one thing at a time. I must telephone that joker, dear Mr. Sanderson. He's coming up now, Barbara. Time to mask the old voice.
Hello. Hello. Are you there? Who is that?
Here goes. Am I speaking to Gilbert Sanderson?
You are?
Is Sanderson the art dealer?
That is so. But who might I be speaking to?
Shall we leave that little detail out for the present?
I'm afraid I'm not in the habit of speaking to unidentified strangers on the phone.
Oh, you'll identify me soon enough.
Now listen to me, whoever you may be.
No. You listen to me if you don't mind. I'll tell you why I'm ringing. It's in connection with a number of Utrillos I have to sell.
Utrillos, you say?
Yes, 40 of them all told.
Who the devil are you?
Oh, just a simple-minded sort of man, trying to right a wrong here and there, in the Robin Hood tradition, you know.
The Grey Goose. What the blazes do you want?
It's about those 40 Utrillos. You know to what I refer, I take it.
I know nothing about Utrillos.
Oh, naturally. You may not be pleased with what I propose to do with them. You see, I'm going to insist, mark you, that you buy them back from me. The price is 100 guineas per canvas.
Ridiculous, you can't.
Oh, yes, I can. I dislike making threats, but in this case I must. Unless you carry out my instructions implicitly, these paintings will reach the police, together with their past histories. Now, 40 times 100 guineas is something over £4,000.
I haven't got that sort of money to buy rubbish.
No?
No. This art business isn't all that you blackmailers think.
Possibly not. But I should imagine that it would be most lucrative when, A, you deal in share frauds as a sideline, and B, you pass off very skillful forgeries.
You're talking a lot of rot.
Rot or otherwise, Mr. Gilbert Sanderson. I don't intend to talk very much longer. I want that money tonight, in notes.
I won't do it.
I think you will. Now, here are the instructions where to meet me this evening. Yes, keep listening, please.
What's the time now, Rolly?
Time? It's gone 8:30.
Perhaps he's decided not to come.
Oh, he'll be here. Don't you worry. Listen.
That's a car now.
Yes. Back in the shade of these trees.
That's him, Rolly.
On with your mask.
It's on already.
Mine too.
Best of luck.
Thanks.
Are you looking for someone?
Much against my wishes. The Grey Goose wears a black mask, I see.
An unfortunate encumbrance, but necessary. You have the money?
You'll find it all in this package.
Now, you keep hold of it while I feel it.
Yes, you seem to have quite a deal of experience feeling bundles of notes.
I see you've been reading the newspapers. Well, this bundle should make quite a headline when it reaches the intended charity. There's another bundle lying on the ground, Sanderson. The Utrillo forgeries. I'll leave it to you to pick them up and get back into your car. Perhaps we'll meet again.
I rather doubt it. Mayor, get him!
Rolly, in the back of the car. A man with a gun. Watch out. Oh, he got away.
A clever ruse, my pet, and it nearly came off. Poor Sanderson.
Rolly, is he...
Very dead, I fear.
But what happened? It was all so fast and confusing that I just didn't know what was going on.
Well, Sanderson tried a swift one on me. Thought he'd bump me off. But before you saw that gunman rising up out of the back seat of Sanderson's car, I'd spotted him myself. I was already diving at the blighter. The gunman started to shoot wild and... Sanderson collected the bullets.
Oh.
The gunman, Sanderson's gunman, that is, seeing what he'd done, sprang into the front seat of the car and went for his life. Apparently, there's such a thing as poetic justice.
It's terrible. Now what are you doing?
Leaving another grey token here with Sanderson and the forged Utrillos. Then I'll contact Scotland Yard.
Is that you, Inspector? Your ancient enemy here?
Go on, say it.
It's murder this time, Inspector. Murder at Chelsea, of which you know.
Yes, that's stale news.
But this is fresh. I've just seen it done.
Well, then you'll have to testify.
How are you going to subpoena me, my dear sir?
All right, go on.
Take a police car to the Uxbridge Road. Go past Uxbridge. At a distance of exactly 1 mile, you'll find an old acquaintance of yours. Very dead, I'm afraid. Shot.
Who is he?
One Gilbert Sanderson.
Good heavens, Sanderson.
Yes, indeed. Lying near him is a roll of canvases.
Paintings?
Yes, painted by one Brazard, late of Chelsea, a forger of paintings employed by the late Mr. Sanderson.
Did you shoot Sanderson?
Inspector, dear, I never shoot. I never commit violence except when defending myself. No, the shooter, peculiar term, is one Terence Marr, quite a well-known character among the gang social sets.
You're sure?
Didn't I say I saw the shooting? Hurry, man, hurry.
Rolly, must you keep gloating over the newspaper, Pa?
It boosts my ego. Listen, it would seem that the moguls of the yard should take stock of their talents when a lone operator can so swiftly expose such an outrageous art swindle single-handed.
Single-handed? I could scream.
Don't. Just cross another name off the list of the men who helped to ruin your father.
Already crossed off. Sanderson.
Now, we can wash our hands of that affair.
All right, but I have a souvenir.
Just what do you mean by that?
I've been very naughty. I kept one of those paintings.
Perfidious? Perfidious, as I've always said.
I think it'd look very nice on the wall of my flat, even if it is a forged Utrillo.
Listen again for the next adventure with Rolland Fletcher, the modern Robin Hood, the man they call the Grey Goose.
I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
With my old friend Ebenezer Ford of Scotland Yard rather hot on the trail, I decided to lay low for a bit and let things simmer down somewhat. But times were hard. Thus, when Lady Hadley invited me down for a weekend at Hadley Chase, I opined there might be pickings. So behold me, an honoured guest at Hadley Chase. My mind centred upon the aforesaid pickings, which included some very choice emeralds worn by the buxom and middle-aged Lady Hadley herself.
Rolly, you're mad to chance it. She sleeps with the emeralds round her neck.
Barbara, your job at this house party is to help me, not to raise objections. Now, you leave this to me. Shh. Here's Lester Summers, the beautiful little secretary laddie.
What, not in the jolly old world, Miss Faversham?
No, Mr. Summers. Mr. Fletcher and myself retired a bit hurt after that square dance episode.
It's a bit rough, eh? Well, what about a drink to cool you down? Excellent idea, eh, what?
Not for me. Tell me, Summers, how long does the shindig last?
Midnight. 3 minutes to go. Then Lady Hadley gives the signal, and a hey and a whiz, and everybody's off, what?
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 I thought you said what?
Oh, did I?
Listen, this can go on to the witching hour, what? I did say what, so there. Summers, what happens when 12 strikes?
Well, everybody goes home.
What?
Everybody goes home.
What? Beat you to it that time, Summers, laddie.
Party's nearly over, Lester. Oh, I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Oh, not at all. You must have met these two, Zelie.
These two are Miss Barbara Faversham.
How do you do?
And self, Rolland Fletcher.
Sorry. Miss Zelie Kerman, a great friend of Lady Hadley's.
Charmed.
I'm not charmed.
No.
No, I'm captivated.
Delighted to meet you, Madam.
Miss. You were right the first time. Lester, darling.
Yes, Zelie?
If we had a drink, we could just be in time to toast our hostess.
Oh, but of course, I'll get him.
Good boy, Lester. It will require some assistance, though, won't it?
Oh, but yes. Miss Faversham, would you help?
Go on, twerp.
Sucker. I'll be delighted. Lead on, Mr. Summers. Let's get together and mix the poison. And I mean poison.
So charmed at last to meet this so elegant Mr. Fletcher again.
Oh, how nice of you to remember, Miss Zelie.
Just, Zelie, please.
Right, Zelie, please.
What?
Oh, please, nothing. You must excuse my little attempt at humour.
But of course.
Very nice of you. And now, what were we talking about? Oh, wine, no. You know her ladyship very well, don't you?
Oh, but yes. No, that is, we met 6 months ago. It would be at
Aix-les-Bontemps?
But yes, how clever of you to guess. Extraordinary.
Not really. It was the first place that came into my head. And how?
Oh, you yourself, of course, were there.
Yes. Oh, yes, of course.
Then that's where I first met you. A lovely place, don't you think?
Hadley Chase?
But yes, of course. Though I was thinking of that Aix...
Les Bontemps? Oh, charming. So near the waters and all that.
Oh, yes. That lovely dip in the blue surf. Oh, so invigorating.
Oh, how true, how very true. You must have looked charming, Zelie, dipping into the waters at Aix-les-Bontemps.
Ah, yes.
Ah, those waters must almost have taken the aches out of Les Bontemps.
How funny you are.
Do you take your whiskey with soda water or without waters, Miss Kerman?
Soda water for me. Well, here's bon santé.
Prosit?
Auf Wiedersehen. Can't you think of anything, Lester?
Bottoms up. Present company accepted, of course.
You're staying in the house, Seeley?
Oh, but yes, Rolland.
Good. See some more of you, what?
Yes, doubtless. But for now, I go to my dear hostess, Lady Hadley. Are you coming too, my Lester?
Oh, but certainly. Yes, I'm coming.
Well, how do you like your snakes cooked?
Grilled to a cinder, so that I have to send them back, my dear.
That woman's poison.
Yes, very true. But done up in a very attractive packet. Yes, Barbara, we've got to find out about her. Very soon, too. I think she may be a bit of a danger. Do you know anything about her?
Nothing. Except that little Lester Summers runs after her like the tail of a kite. And you look moonstruck every time she wags her false eyelashes.
No. Let not the green eye colour our landscape. You know I never succumb to feminine charms without a purpose.
Yes, and it's the purpose I'm suspicious of.
Oh, very caustic of you, my dear. But we won't dwell on it. Now listen here, wench. This Zeeley...
Miss Kerman.
This Kerman woman is a phony.
You're telling me. She's dyed-in-the-wool imitation.
Exactly, I've just discovered that. She doesn't know Aix-les-Bains from a new town I've just built, called Aix-les-Bontemps. Oh. She thinks there's arthritis in both of them.
What?
Aix. Aix, my dear, Aix.
Oh.
So glad you didn't ask me who arthritis was. She pretends to be French, German, Swiss, or what have you. But between you and me and the leg of lamb, she's a cockney.
Good heavens.
You should have said blimey, not half, but we'll let that pass. The point is, how does she go with our Lady Bountiful, Lady Hadley? How has she, this so-and-so, insinuated herself into this house party set-up?
By the same means as you have, my burglar friend.
By Jove, you hit it, Barbara. She's here on matters beyond the law.
Like you.
Will you change the record? Look, if this is so, and I'll give a guess you're right, she may queer our own pitch. Maybe the Hadley emeralds have brought her down here. Or, on the other hand, I may be misjudging her.
You couldn't misjudge that...
Creature?
That's the word. So what?
Scout, my dear. Go and scout. The party's nearly over. Group around, track her down. Track little Lester Summers down. Find out what you can. Hurry, wench.
Will you wait here?
I shall. There's whiskey, to say nothing of the waters.
See you later, then.
Trust a woman to find out about another woman. Barbara will find out, even if she's got a mole in some less obvious place than the back of her neck.
Oh, excuse me, somebody told me there's a drink round here.
Ben!
Oh, good Lord, you, Fletcher.
Yes, I. And I'm not a drink. But I can give you one. Say when.
When? What are you doing here?
Didn't you notice? I'm robbing the safe. And while we're doing our catechism, what are you doing here?
Nothing, except not enjoying myself. I got here late only to find the party's over, everybody singing Auld Lang Syne, and the drink waiters all gone to bed.
Have another.
Yes, thanks. You staying over?
I was invited for the weekend, but I think I've had it, so I should go back in the morning.
I'm going back to town tonight. If you want to go earlier, why not come with me?
No, I can't very well. Miss Faversham is staying over. The Hadley woman is an old friend of her family's. That's how I got the invitation.
Oh, well, here's luck. Rather it were you than me. Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, I'll go and say good night to Lady Hadley. See you in jail.
What? Oh, yes, I'll pop in on visiting days. Good night, Ben.
Still there, Rolly?
Yes, I'm still here, but a little rocked. Inspector Ben just dropped in.
Gracious.
Yes, very gracious of him. But he's not on duty, a friend of the family and all that. Well, how did you get on?
Oh, not much good. Found an old retainer, Madge something or other. She says your Zeeley met Lady Hadley somewhere on the continent.
But I didn't think she'd met her in the Mile End Road.
The Zeeley woman attached herself...
Middle name Glue?
Will you let me finish? Since then, the Zeeley person has stayed here with Lady H, who thinks she's the, Pumas Bloomers.
I see. Then the Zeeley person, may be on the up and up.
Or very long-sighted. However, she sleeps in the west wing of this barracks, and Lady Hadley sleeps in the main centre building.
I found that out. I know the room.
Zeeley's?
Lady Hadley's. Well, that far off, she couldn't be playing watchdog, could she?
No, I suppose not.
Very well, then. Tonight's the night. Look, my dear, 2 a.m. is Zeeley...
What?
0 hour. You will stand by Lady Hadley's door while I go in, lift the emeralds, and op it. She wears them in bed round her throat.
Why should I stand by the door?
1, to keep cavy. 2, because I do not wish the estimable Lady H to be reckoned among the Sabine women. Decorum est and all that.
I see.
Well, thank heavens for that. Now, back to the tail end of the party, or someone might suspect we are jewel thieves. Put a black frock on and wear your mask at 2 a.m. Bells, Skipper.
It only struck 2.
Shut up. Now, if anybody approaches the door, whistle 3 o'clock in the morning.
But it's only 2.
All right. Then go down to the main hall and beat hell out of that big Chinese gong. Obey orders, wench.
All right, don't get so dramatic. I'll whistle 2 o'clock in the morning.
I don't know that tune. Just whistle.
What about the French window? This room leads onto a long balcony.
I'll jam the French window. Now, open the door. Shine your torch. No, not onto the head of the bed. On the floor. Good. Now, guide me to the French window. That's it. We must fix this first. All right. Now, vamoose, disappear. Get the car out and wait 5 minutes for me. If I don't bob up then, dash for town, tuck yourself into bed, and pray for all prisoners in our jails.
But...
Dammy, obey orders. They're necessary. Now, for the window. Oh, confound it, too late.
Stand still, whoever you are. I have you covered. You are just too late to jam that window. In any case, I had it wedged. Now explain yourself. This is a gun, you know. A real gun.
And so in his quest for more jewels, Rolland Fletcher has certainly got himself in a spot. This is a serious problem which will take him all his ingenuity to solve. Listen to his reply in the next episode of The Grey Goose.
I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
Through Barbara, I got an invitation to Lady Hadley's house party. She has emeralds, you know. Inspector Benford was also a guest, on this occasion definitely relaxing. I met, too, a lady called Zelie Kerman, a pseudo-foreigner, who had attached herself to Lady Hadley and was living with her. She was beautiful but phony. She was escorted, too, by a funny little puss called Lester Summers in the sort of lapdog capacity. That night, 2 a.m., Barbara and I raided the old lady, who was in bed sound asleep with the emeralds round her neck. Most unexpectedly, the French window opened suddenly. Fortunately, I was wearing my mask. The voice said...
Now explain yourself. This is a gun, you know. A real gun.
Stop it, Barbara. The fact is...
Back out of the door at once. I do not wish to waken her ladyship. Go on, and take that mask off.
I'll obey the first instruction, but permit me to retain my incognito a few moments longer.
You will do as I say in 1 minute, after I have made sure her ladyship is unharmed. Now, I am shutting the door. You will remain outside for 30 seconds. If when I open the door you are not there, I shall scream, and you will be caught before you reach the front door. Now, wait.
Well, the fair Zelie herself. I think I can guess why I'm on this side of the door and she's on the other. However,
We shall see. Is she all right?
She's sleeping like a top, as you say.
Something like a Mickey Finn at work, eh?
And what is this Finn you speak of? Do not answer, but walk slowly down the stairs. Remember the gun.
I do remember it, and am walking. Facilis descensus Averni and all that. Letting you know, for it's easy going down.
Stop chattering. Now, the front door.
I've noticed it. It's rather obstructing further progress, isn't it?
Open it.
With pleasure. It is open.
Now, down the stone steps.
You're driving me away?
No, I am coming with you.
Oh, how charming of you. I didn't think an old codger like me had that much personal magnetism.
Hold the tongue and descend the steps. Remember, I am behind you 6 steps with the gun.
I've said I remembered the gun. This is quite a flight of steps, isn't it?
When you reach the gravel drive, you remove that mask or I shoot. Is it understood?
Definitely, alas.
Then proceed again. And this...
Say, what is this? Treading on a girl sitting on the steps to get some air. Grab her, Rolly.
Got her, the gun.
Stop her yelling. The gun's on the drive somewhere.
She can't yell with my hand halfway down her throat.
God bless my soul, she can't yell anyway. She's out to it.
Must have fallen on her head, I think. Stunned.
Good. That was a sweet trick of yours, Barbara. Top marks and all that. How did you work it out?
Well, I didn't exactly. I just hung around waiting to see what might happen. Then you appeared, followed by a woman with gun. I let you get by, then literally threw myself at her feet.
Great work. Now, what to do with her? She'll probably come to any moment from now.
Kidnap her. Put her in the car and get back to town.
No can do. We're staying here, remember. We'll have to show up at breakfast.
Oh, yes, of course. We could leave her here.
By Jove, yes. Then you and I could go back to our rooms and sleep the sleep of the unjust and bob up in the morning, completely unversed in the doings of the night.
Think she'll be all right out here?
Oh, definitely. Warm night and all that. She'll have a bit of a duck egg on her top knot. So, come on, partner.
How do we get in again?
Through the front door, like respectable people for once. I left it open. Ready?
Yes.
Oh, the masks.
What about them?
Burn them in your room. If there's a hullabaloo in the morning, there may be repercussions. Oh, just a moment. A grey goose feather might look rather attractive in the fair Zeeley's hair.
No, please, Rolly, not this time. I have a premonition.
All right, I'll postpone the function. Now op it, and be ready for daylight fireworks.
Mr. Fletcher, sir?
Yes?
Breakfast is served in the dining room, and would you please hurry down? There's been terrible trouble. Police and Lord alone knows that her ladyship in a big to-do.
Oh, I'm sorry. Tell him I'll be only a minute.
Thank you, sir.
Terrible trouble and a big to-do. Yes?
It's I, Rolly. Hurry, there's trouble.
You get down at once. I'll follow in a moment.
Right.
Oh, I wonder how Zaley's headache is. Oh, dear. Hello? Who's that?
Lester Summers, Mr. Fletcher. The fact is there's considerable distress.
Oh, come in. Distress, you said?
Oh, my word, yes. What? Everybody's in the dining room, except, of course, dear Lady Hadley.
Well, doesn't she eat with her guests?
Oh, but at the moment she is prostrate. You see, the emeralds are missing. Some burglar chappie, what?
I didn't say anything. Oh, I beg your pardon. Burglars, eh? Good, I'll come down with you.
Oh, that will be a great relief to me. I'm a bit allergic to burglars.
Aren't we all, as the vicar once remarked?
Oh, did he really?
You ask Frilly Lonsdale.
Oh, thank you, I will. Well, here we are. You go in first, will you?
Come in, Fletcher. You too, Mr. Summers.
Ben, I thought you'd gone back to town.
I did. And at 6 a.m. I was informed of a burglary here. A major case of theft, and so I returned. Now then, sit down, everybody, while I ask a few questions. Miss Kerman, please endeavour to be concise in your answers.
Concise, Inspector. I do not know it.
Heaven help me. Tell me what happened last night.
Oh, but yes, you will understand. I awoke at 2 in the morning.
How did you know the time?
I look at the clock, dear police.
All right. Then what?
Door it bang. I am disturbed. Out of my bed I get. Then I run along the whole corridor to my dear patron's room. The Lady Headley, you know.
Why?
For to protect her. You see, I have gratitude. She gave me a home here for 6 months.
But why did you think harm was threatening her?
It was, how you say, a dog idea.
A what?
Instinct, Inspector.
The charming Mr. Fletcher. He has the understanding.
All right. Now continue.
Just as I reached the door, a man, he dashed out. An old man, I think.
An old man?
So, he has a gruff and aged voice. He said to me, stick up the hands.
My hat.
I do so. Then he say, go down the stairs. I do so. Then he say, open the front door. I do so.
Why did you do so often?
Because he has the gun.
Thanks.
Leave this to me, Fletcher. Go on, Miss Kerman.
Then he say, go down the steps to the driveway. I do so. You smile?
Oh, please finish your story.
At the bottom step, he raises his gun and he bang it on my head.
He did so. That's how you were stunned.
That is so, police. I am a blackout. Then later I wake. It is daylight. I climb up the steps and go to the room. And then, alas, I see my dear patron asleep. But, alas, there are no emeralds.
No emeralds. How did you discover that?
Because she sleeps always with the necklace around her throat.
I see.
Then she awake. And she discover also. And then we wake up all the people. And the good butler, he telephoned the Scottish Yard. And you come. And I have this bump on the head.
Thank you. You, Mr. Summers.
But yes, old chap.
Where do you come in?
That is, I don't think I do. I apparently slept all through the fuss. Only heard of it when the household was awakened.
I see. What is your function here, if I may ask?
I'm a kind of a secretary to her ladyship. Miss Kerman introduced me to her on the continent.
At Exhilarating, wasn't it?
Oh, but yes, my dear man, how did you know?
I didn't. It was a rash guess. You see, Miss Kerman told me she also met Lady Hadley at that place.
But yes, exactly.
So you know nothing, Mr. Summers?
But nothing.
Will you excuse me just one moment, Inspector?
Oh, what now?
I've just been wondering whether Miss Kerman shouldn't have a doctor to examine that knock on the head.
Oh, no, and thank you, it is now nothing.
Maybe it would be wise.
I have a little experience of wounds, of war and all that. May I see it, Miss Kerman?
It is so charming of you. Yes, and in these circumstances, I think so. It aches, you know.
Like Exhilarating.
That is most funny pun, huh?
Now, just past the hairline. So.
You have the soft touch.
But yes, haven't I, but? No, not very serious. No concussion much. Even the skin's not broken. You are very lucky indeed, Miss Kerman. A blow from a revolver can be very nasty indeed. By the way, what happened to the elderly dent who donged you that one?
Pardon?
The man who hit you with his gun. What happened to him?
Yes, but how can I know? I am in the blackout.
Oh, yes, I forgot that. I was just hoping you might have seen which way the rascal ran. But of course, how could you?
All right. Now, this inquiry is not by any means finished. And I'll resume it after I've had the opportunity of examining the scene of this disturbance. And if Lady Hadley is recovered, I'll endeavour to have a few words with her. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, you will none of you leave the precinct of this house. That's understood.
Oh, but my dear man, I have an appointment with my hairdresser.
Well, your permanent wave will have to wait until next week.
I wish we could get away from here, Rolly.
Can't be done. Besides, I'm having quite a piece of fun.
So I noticed. You took quite a bit of time fiddling with that Zealy woman's hair. You have the soft touch. Bah! Look, Rolly, we're in a spot.
I don't think so. As for that woman's hair, I had a purpose in that.
That's what I meant.
Off on the wrong foot again, my dear. Now, leave that for the moment and listen to this. A smack on the head with the butt of a gun leaves a bruise and a lump, but it also makes an indentation.
So what? We know she didn't get a crack with a gun.
I was examining the bruise to see if she'd thought of that. She hadn't.
Well?
I'm going to point out that little fact to Inspector Ben himself in the very near future.
And so we find Rolland Fletcher assisting the police in the person of Inspector Ford. Or is he? Follow the next step taken by the wily Grey Goose.
I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
Hadley Chase, from which I expected so much so easily, turned out a house of turmoil. Lady Hadley had been robbed of her emerald necklace, which, I must confess, rather upset my plans. When I went to, help myself, masked of course, I was interrupted by a lady with a gun, a Miss Zelie Kerman, a phony foreigner. She marched me out to the front drive, and I was just about to call quits when Barbara entered the scene, tripped the lady up and stunned her. Barbara and I then returned to our rooms. Came the dawn and the hullabaloo. Lady Hadley's emeralds missing. Then came the big surprise. None other than Ben Ford turns up and grills the guests. After which, Barbara and I go into a huddle.
Aren't you glad I wouldn't let you plant any feathers?
Under the circumstances, yes. But I may still find an opportunity. I must intimate I have been here, you know.
All right, then. Plant one in your cellar, Dartmoor, and say, I am still here.
Ooh, quite a thrust. And I promise you I'll be careful. What's really worrying me is the wasted effort. Here I had my hands on the emeralds, and that Zelie Kerman gunned me out and away.
And you haven't got them?
No, I haven't.
Then who has?
I have my own ideas about that. But more later. The job is how to divert them to us. You know, I was practically hijacked.
I'm beginning to see.
Well, don't see too far. At the moment, with Inspector Ben in the house, the less one knows the better. Now, you disappear while I do a piece of exploring.
Do you think that woman recognized you as Rolland Fletcher last night?
Definitely not. I did my aged Grey Goose act. You heard her describe her assailant as an old man.
Oh, yes, of course.
Good. Now, do as I say. I have a call to make.
On Zelie?
How did you guess? I'll tell you all about it afterwards.
All? Good heavens, what's that?
The famous bull in the proverbial china shop, I think.
That scream didn't sound much like a bull.
Don't be so pernickety. Come on, down the corridor. There's something doing and I want to be there.
Everybody wants to be there, it seems. This is Zelie's room. End of corridor.
Well, knock. It's I, Miss Zelie. Fletcher.
Oh, this so charming Fletcher. Come in, my friend.
What's happened? Are you hurt?
No, not hurt. It is an accident.
But you screamed.
Yes, indeed, yes, I scream. I make the démarche and I scream.
Personally, I think it's safer for girls to scream first.
Oh, look, the beautiful table lamp. It lie on the floor, broken.
Yes, very broken. A big china affair.
I am clumsy, am I not? I knock it off the table. I'm so distressed, am I? How shall I face the dear Lady Hadley? I am disgraced.
Don't worry, my dear. Lady Hadley won't notice a broken table lamp in the view of the anxiety over her emeralds.
You think not?
But definitely. Look, I'll tell you what. You hop along to Lady Hadley's room, see how she is, and Miss Faversham and I will clear up the mess.
You think that good? Oh, but a moment. The inspector, he is in the consultation there.
Don't let him worry you.
But I am not glad at any time to see his terrible eye.
You take it from me, it's more terrible at any time to see his glad eye. Now then, you get along while we do the sweeping up.
I shall thank you so much. Later.
Oh, Murray.
Sir?
Get these people back to the servants' hall.
Yes, sir.
Barbara, shut the door.
Why do you want to volunteer for this job?
Because... Get busy. Rattle the bits and stick your ear close to mine. table lamp was on the only table in the room, over by the window.
Of course.
Then why is the shade and all the china here by the cupboard door?
Put those bits in the waste paper tidy.
Right. If she knocked it off the table, the bits would, of course, still be over there.
Right.
Oh, gosh, what a mess. A lot of small bits, too.
Exactly. So what?
She threw it.
Yes.
Because she didn't like the pattern, or because she didn't like the cupboard door.
Well, this is beyond repair. Valuable piece of stuff, too. Pity.
No, because she didn't like whoever it was that dived for cover into that cupboard.
Yes. Look at the dent in the door.
Okay, then. A near miss, I'd call it.
Well, that's that. We'll cart the rest of it over to the window and dump the basket on the table with...
Who was that?
Confound it! Beaten at the post. Whoever it was pretty slick. Dodged out of the cupboard. Come on!
See anyone?
No, but I hear someone running down the stairs. Dash it, I knew someone was in that cupboard.
How?
Women don't shriek and chuck heavy lamps about when they haven't an audience. Obvious, my dear Watson. She was having a real heart-to-heart slap-out row with someone. By Jove, have you noticed something?
No.
As a matter of fact, I've noticed an absence. The conspicuous absence of our dear friend Inspector Ben.
Isn't he having a powwow with Lady Hadley in her room?
Oh, of course. And that gives me vitally to think. Oh, my gosh.
Well, don't be so frightfully mysterious.
Hush, wench. All will come out in the wash.
And the emeralds?
They will be of the first water. Very good. Now, let's clear out of here. You first, and leg it as fast as you can. Try to remember those long past years when you played hockey for the dear old school.
Beast, I'll get you for that one.
Oh, there you are, Fletcher.
Well. Ben of all people. I was just thinking of you. In fact, if you recognized it, I was whistling your theme song.
I was looking for you, as a matter of fact.
Good. That is unofficially, I hope.
Yes, on this occasion.
Still good. Well, what's afoot?
I was going to ask you that. I heard there was a bit of a schmozzle up in Zeeley's room.
You heard of it? You didn't hear it. Now, be careful, Inspector. You are on your oath.
What is all this?
Ben, please answer. It's rather important. You heard of it?
That's what I said. Murray, the butler, told me.
When?
Oh, a few minutes after I left Lady Hadley's room.
After?
I said after.
Ben, old man, it's only another mile to my room down these infernal corridors. I'd like a little speech with you. Well, here we are. Come in.
There. Now, look, if it's about emeralds, I'm not in a position to make any statement, so forget it.
It is about emeralds, but as they say in the agony columns, something to your advantage. So listen, and answer when you're spoken to.
I shall reserve my answers as and when I like.
And don't be terse. Now listen. The schmozzle came from Zeeley's room. There was a crash like a doodlebug falling in London, and then a scream.
Murray told me that the Zeeley woman dropped a big table lamp and screamed in panic.
Rubbish. There was a man in Zeeley's room, and she threw the lamp at him and screamed.
Doesn't sound like my idea of Zeeley.
Don't be coarse, Ben. She'd had a row with the joker.
Well, did she miss him?
Yes, but only because he took cover just in the nick of time, ducked into the cupboard.
Was it you?
Ben!
Well, if it wasn't, how do you know all of this? And who was the man?
I'll wise you up on that later. Now, you heard nothing because you were in Lady Hadley's room.
It's a long, long way from Zeeley's room.
How did you know? Don't answer that. Yes, it's a long, long way. Then tell me this, my good sleuth. How did Zeeley hear Lady Hadley's door slam, as she said she did, and the noise of which woke her?
Bless my soul.
Consider it blessed. Now, continue, Ben. Zeeley's crack on the head.
Yes, you were very attentive. Why?
I could say she's got nice eyes, but apart from that, she had an egg as big as an apple on her noggin. When I examined it, it was all bruise and bump. You know that a smack on the napper with a gun, either end, must break the skin.
Yes, of course.
There was no sign of an abrasion. So what?
She wasn't hit with a gun. So she was lying.
Alas, and so beautiful. More to come, Ben.
Carry on.
Her alleged assailant was, as she said, an aged man. Who would you say that was?
For a moment I naturally connected him with that infamous nuisance, the Grey Goose.
Somehow I thought you did. But to pass on.
What, more still?
But yes. According to the lady's story, she recovered consciousness on the front drive in the cold and dreary dawn. Immediately she gathered herself together, she entered by the front door...
And immediately made for Lady Hadley's room to protect... My gosh!
What do you think?
To steal the emeralds, of course.
Oh, be your age, Ben.
Eh? Well, then what?
Look, she wasn't bumped on the head by an aging burglar with a gun. We proved the gun point.
But she has got a bump on the head. Well, maybe she walked into a door.
But she said otherwise.
True. Oh, look, Fletcher, you've been darn clever, and I must hand it to you. But nothing has been stated that would pin the theft of the emeralds on Zelie. However, go back to the fracas in her room.
Right. The aforesaid fracas brought me and some of the servants to Zelie's room. She went to apologize to the old lady. Miss Havisham and I got rid of the servants, offered to clear up the mess.
Wherever should you?
Because, Ben, I smelled a rat. And what's more, I discovered one. But I won't expose him just yet. It was then I found out about the man in the room, about whom I told you.
I insist on knowing more.
Right. In your official capacity, after dinner, insist on everyone remaining in the dining room. Got it? Then I'll take you up to Zelie's room.
Good.
Well, don't leer like that.
Charming room, too.
Yes, not so charming now that door is so badly damaged.
Yes.
Strange how the lamp fell off the table, ran across the room, and practically dug a hole through that door.
All right, you've proved your point, Fletcher. Well, I think I'll have every justification for making a search of this room for those emeralds. Even Zelie herself.
How very ungallant of you, dear Inspector.
Zelie?
And you shut your big mouth, smart guy, or else. See this gun? It pops.
Emeralds are like opals, they say, unlucky for some, and at the moment it appears that Rolland Fletcher is out of luck. However, events are generally shaped to the advantage of...
I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
The Hadley emeralds had enticed me down to Hadley Chase. There I met a Zelie Kerman who had somehow attached herself to Lady Hadley and was living at the Chase. If you followed my story, you'll realize I now found myself more than interested in her, as I soon discovered she was a complete fake. Later, after much investigation, I took my friend Inspector Ford into my confidence and bluntly rocked him with certain facts. Hence he and I made a surreptitious visit to Zelie's room with the idea that she was the thief, and in order to make a search. Like a couple of raw recruits, we were held up by the pseudo-continental lady herself. She quickly demonstrated that she was non-continental. Nothing, in fact, but sheer, hard-boiled London.
Now, stand quite still, you lugs, while I frisk you. And if you doubt that this gun of mine goes pop, listen. How's that? Convinced?
Oh, definitely. But, Zelie, you missed...
I didn't have to hit you, Fletcher. I was just demonstrating.
You know, you were more charming when you had that foreign accent.
I reckon you fell for that a bit.
Yes, I'll admit that now.
Cut out these bits of politeness. And remember, I am the police. Before long, I intend to arrest you, Zelie, on suspicion of having in your possession the emeralds stolen from Lady Hadley.
All right, Mr. Inspector. If I have got 'em, so what? You're not doing any arresting. 'Cause why? I've got the gun, And before you arrest me, I'm leaving double quick and you can't stop me. Now open that door.
Well, I always do that for a lady. Habit, you know.
Now, down the corridor. No, not that way. The one leading to the servants' entrance.
Oh, but...
Don't be so class-conscious.
Oh, very well. Come on, Inspector. You first, I'll follow.
I warn you, Miss Kerman, you can't get away with this.
But I can.
Damn it, Fletcher, she shut us out.
Yes, she has, too. Quick, let's smash this door.
Right.
She'll make her get away by the window. Come in.
No good. Just a couple of mugs. Come on, we'll dash round and maybe head her off before she gets to the gate. She's out of that window, you can bet.
I'm certain of it. A very clever young woman, that.
Oh, confound it, I've got to head her off somehow.
Of course, but you've got a mile or two of corridor to travel. You haven't a hope.
All the same, I'm going. And very soon I'll have every pedestrian on the road, every motorist too, stopped and searched. She won't get very far.
I hope not, especially if, as I think, she's got the emeralds. All right, Ben, you go on your lawful occasions. I'll just prowl around here and seal up, as it were, this end. I'll be waiting here when you come back.
Mind you are.
Well, that's that. Now for a little quiz of Zeeley's room once more. Ah, yes. Here's Charlie Austin's little open sesame. No one at home. Window open. Yes, the bird has flown. Well, it's no use hunting for emeralds here. They've flown with the bird. Think I'll make myself comfortable in this chair and see what cooks a bit later. You never know.
Zeeley! Zeeley! Zeeley, why don't you answer? Zeeley! Must be downstairs. I'll go and see.
That's right, little man. Go and see. Well, I think I know all now, so I'll go and see too. Ah, Mr. Summers, well met.
Oh, of course, but yes, well met. Where are you off to?
Downstairs, my lad. I'm ordering myself a drink in the library. Join me?
Yes, I think I will. Have you seen Miss Zeeley Kerman?
Not recently. Come on, here we are. Well then, what's it to be?
Oh, squash. I only take soft drinks, you know.
Marvellous. Wish I did. Here, a squash. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, dear me.
Confound this rug. I tripped over it. Oh, dash it. Let me wipe you down a bit. No, hold still. Open your coat. Yeah, that's it. Oh, this stuff is terribly sticky. That suit will want cleaning, I'm afraid.
Oh, don't worry, my dear man, but I do think I'll go up and change, what?
Oh, definitely I'd go up and change what? And that and them and those too.
Oh, you're pulling my jolly old leg, what? Before I go, you are sure you haven't seen Miss Zeeley?
I haven't seen her for quite a while. Didn't you know that she'd left in a bit of a hurry?
Left, you said?
Definitely. She was rather upset over recent happenings. A bit hysterical, you know. And then that crack on the head.
But the inspector chappie, he said no one was to leave the house.
Yes, of course he did. But I think he understands. He knows she's gone. I practically saw her off.
Did he really now? I can hardly imagine that. He's rather dumb, but don't you think so?
Yes, I think I agree with you. Well, now you failed to contact Zeeley.
That is perfectly true. Therefore, we must search.
All in good time. But I really can assure you that Lady Hadley will be notified as to your astuteness. I shouldn't be surprised if you made a real hit with the old girl.
Oh, jolly fun, what? But I really must find Zeeley.
Yes, of course you must. Well, here's hoping. Where do you intend to look for her?
Dash it all, what? I really don't know.
Now, there we have it, Barbara.
Have what, for heaven's sake, Rowley? I confess I'm completely in the dark.
Ben failed to catch up with the lady, I'm certain. She got out of the window, and he had to go round all this labyrinth of corridors and try to head her off at the gate.
He naturally missed.
Personally, I didn't expect any better luck. That's why I remained behind.
And what did you glean?
Nothing very tangible, but enough to justify me getting to meet you here. Because I'm very certain that someone else is going to leave here in a hurry very soon. If we wish to find Zeeley, that person will lead us to her.
But what of the inspector, out on his wild goose chase?
He's been notified. Yes, I hope so. I rang through a message for him to look out for my car and follow it, giving me 10 minutes grace. Should I stop anywhere, then he's to follow and collect the What is?
Goodness gracious, you take terrible risks. No Grey Goose business, I hope.
Not so far, but one never knows.
Do be careful.
I will. Now, watch your side of the corridor and see what Santa Claus will send you. I'll watch t'other.
Not a sign yet.
No.
The only one I've seen is little Lester Summers just gone downstairs.
Summers! Good heavens, come on, go, quick.
Why?
Shut up. He's opened the front door. Come on.
But that little man's harmless, surely.
You think so? Well, as we follow him, make up your mind.
He's getting into a car.
So are we, and we are following him. Get in, and off we go.
I really don't understand.
Never mind, but I'll tell you this much. That little man is leading us, if I'm not much mistaken, to friend Zeeley.
Oh, that's why you're so anxious.
Yes, you've got it in one. Cat, now sit tight while we follow our little friend.
Well, we're up on the 4th floor of a very nice block of flats. Just what Zeeley would be capable of.
For heaven's sake, haven't we chased that little what's-it here? Without him, I couldn't have located the lady. I had an idea he'd make a break and more or less guide us.
Well, so what? You've located her. Why don't you knock on the door and say, I am here? Or words to that effect.
That shall be done in due course. Firstly, however, one must be certain that the husband is in or out in excursions like this.
Husband?
Yes, you'd be surprised. Now, this, I think, is the door. Glue your face to it and listen with all your ears. I'm going round to the kitchen side of the flat. There's a service lift there. See you anon. That you, Ben?
Yes. I followed your car, then followed you up here. I hope, Fletcher, you've got good reason for all this.
I have. Come round here. There's a service lift to this flat. You can hear everything. And I think we are going to hear a real earful. Much to your advantage.
Where's Miss Faversham?
Keeping caving on the front door. She'll yell if anything happens. I'll dash round that way. You catch him coming this way. Okay?
Yes, but I hope you're not wasting my time.
I'm not. Glue your ear to the service lift and listen.
What am I supposed to hear?
Lord knows. But your main suspect, Irene the Hadley Emeralds, our gracious Zeeley, is just on the other side. Now, brother, bend your ear, and at the psychological moment, enter.
And why the devil did you want to follow me so soon?
Because, Zeeley, I was not going to let you get away with the emeralds and dump me. So there you have it.
Idiot. How do you know you weren't followed? Oh, darn it, why didn't I connect with that lamp?
You nearly did. And if I hadn't dodged into that cupboard, you idiot, you'd have scattered my brains on the carpet.
And a darn good job, too, I'm beginning to think.
And what would have happened then? You'd have found it hard to explain away a dead husband.
Ah, my heaven, how I rue the day you persuaded me to marry a half-wit.
Half-wit or no, it's been a profitable combination so far.
How do you make that out? We pulled off a few stunts only, and not very good.
And not very bad either.
And this latest. We've laid a trail a mile wide. That slick Johnny Fletcher got onto me from the first. I sensed it.
Well, we needn't bother about him. What's he got to do with it?
Do with it? Just this. He's a wise guy, and so's that other sharpshooter, Ford. Somehow I got a feeling both of them are on our tail, and it's not comfortable.
Definitely not. And I reckon we've got to make a quick getaway now that we've got the emeralds.
All right, you fix it. And in the meantime, pass them over to me. They'll be safer.
Right. Here they are. Hell, what... Where the devil...
Don't come that, Lester. Hand them over.
By the living jingo, I haven't got them.
So?
I tell you, I had them in my inside waistcoat pocket next to my shirt.
And they ain't there. Come here, lug.
I've been robbed, I tell you. Someone's got at me.
You double-crossing little rat. You've dumped them somewhere on the way. Cashed them, is that it?
Zeeley, I swear I had them.
Of course you had them. After I lifted them off the old girl, I passed them across to you. I took them while that nosy fox Fletcher was outside the door. They were too hot for me to hang on to.
But I tell you, I had them.
All right, you two. Stop quarreling.
Inspector Ford.
Yes, police. Charming. Miss Zeeley, as you said, we're right on your tail. No, don't go over that other door. Come in, Fletcher.
Well, what a reunion. Ford, old man, I don't much like the company you keep.
So it's you who's at the bottom of this.
Permit me to contradict you, Zeeley. I am on top.
Now, you two, there's a constable apiece for you just outside the door. But before you go, I'd just like to have those emeralds.
But we haven't got them.
Not now, I think you mean. Let them go into the arms of your constable, Inspector. They'll get a good searching, won't they?
By Jove, they will.
Right. Shove them out. I'll get your emeralds for you. Good. Well, Ben, you've heard what amounts to a confession.
Yes, of course. But I haven't got the emeralds.
But I have. Here they are.
Good heavens.
Earlier on, I managed to spill a very long drink over little Lester Summers. I had to be polite and wipe his suit down. Oh, yes, he had the emeralds then. I said then.
And so we conclude yet another adventure wherein Rolland Fletcher finds himself on the side of law and order. But such is not the usual run of things with the Grey Goose.
I have been here.
The Grey Goose. Adventures of a modern Robin Hood.
Successful as I was in securing Lady Hadley's emeralds, circumstances dictated that I should hand them over to Scotland Yard. And thus I got nothing. However, altruistically, it was a triumph. Now let me tell you something of the next little fracas in which I was involved, without any of my seeking. I was on my way home from my club one night, about the stroke of 12. Well, never even stopped to see what happened, the lout. I say, are you all right?
Yes, I think so. A bit knocked about.
Well, of course. The car practically threw you across the pavement. Just missed completely running you down.
Oh, no, it was only an accident.
Accident, my foot. The driver mounted the sidewalk and practically collected you.
But
how you escaped, I can't imagine. Here, let me help you. Did you get his number?
No, you see, I hadn't time. Really, I'm only a little shaken. I feel much better now. I'm sure it was just someone a little under the weather. Driving badly.
Oh, Lord, she's fainted. Oh, now what? Look here. Don't do that. God bless my soul, the same car. Hey, you! Do you see what? Well, I'm jiggered. Missed, thank goodness. Hey, you, wake up. We've just been shot at. Confound you, wake up. We can't stay here all night. Next time that car comes round, we'll be cold meat. Next stop, the mortuary. Now, look, pull yourself together.
What is it?
What is it, she asks. This is what it is, my lass. We are being shot at. And if my watch is right, we'll be shot at again in one more minute, unless we get going.
Yes, let's go. At once.
At last you said something sensible. Come on, this spot is unhealthy. Lean on me.
I've nowhere to go.
Oh, it's like that, is it?
Oh, please, don't misunderstand me. Well, of course I have a home, but they know where that is. The result will be the same.
I see. Well, look, for a little while we'll go somewhere else. Like to trust yourself to me for now?
Well, it'll be better than being shot down in the street, won't it?
Eh? Oh, yes. Bit of a backhanded compliment, though. Still, under the circumstances, I'll make no further comment. Walk so far with me, we'll find a taxi, drive to a certain address, and I'll introduce you to a lady.
A lady?
Definitely. Look here, my girl, I've had this. Stay in the street and get run over or shot down, I don't care which, or else accept what help I can give you, and shut up.
I'm very sorry, but...
I know what you mean by but. Now, do as I say, or take what's coming round the corner at any moment.
I'll trust you.
Thank you. At the moment, I haven't a car nor a Tommy gun in my pocket, so, as the lesser of two evils, follow me to a taxi. Here she comes. In here, behind this door. Now they can't hit us. Good. They didn't see us that time. All right, step it out, round the next corner. We definitely can't stay in this street. That car is going to play circuses until they do get you. Us. Right now, run, and run like blazes. That'll be enough, I think.
Oh, I do hope so. It's very hard running in dancing shoes and an evening frock.
I quite appreciate the difficulty. But if men start shooting in my direction, I run, even if I'm just about to toe the line in a sack race. At any rate, no car can get down this narrow passage, so we can afford to walk a little till we get to a main thoroughfare. Proceed.
Where are you taking me?
I did have an idea, but just for the moment I'm wondering whether second thoughts wouldn't be best. And so far I haven't got any.
Can I trust you?
I can't see any alternative. And just now you said you would. Look here, my lass. Someone's trying to bump you off, and you know it. You just said you daren't go to your own home.
Yes, that's true. Stop. Quick, listen. We are being followed.
Nonsense. Just some belated traveller like ourselves. Wait on. The steps have ceased.
Well, then let's walk on and see if we can hear them again. Now listen carefully. Stop walking.
You're right. Well, we'll have to inquire into this. Apparently your car friends lost us, but one, or maybe more, have tried walking, probably combing this area.
That is, they are determined to find me.
Well, I know a very good way to stop them. Now, round the corner and jump into the first doorway. That's good. Now, hold your breath and listen. Stay put. Excuse me, have you a light?
Eh? Why, certainly.
Thanks. That's that. All right, miss, what's your name? You can come out.
You cracked him.
I did. And if you're a cook or a parlour-maid in disguise, that's one follower the less. Here, hold my torch a moment while I take a look-see. Recognize him?
I'm certain I've never seen him in my life.
Wait on. I'll see what he's got in his pockets. Very little. Small amount of change and... Great Scott, what's this?
Oh, a little wallet. Open it.
A little wallet, she says. My dear refugee, it is a little wallet, an official one, with card of identification inside. Holy Moses, what have I done?
Well, what have you done?
I've donged one Jonathan Service, knocked him cold. Jonathan is a police inspector from headquarters.
What do we do now?
Run like the very devil till we reach the Gobi Desert or some other very, very far spot. My hat, this exercise is more than I can stand.
I'm not too good at it myself. What now?
Aye, and here's the rub. As I said before, I'm going to take you to a place of safety.
Oh, thank you.
But I don't know you, and for the moment I'd rather you didn't know where it was.
But
All right, we can ease up now. You're being followed by some pretty low types, and one day, should they catch up with you, it appears very likely they might screw the address out of you.
I think I see your point. Well, what do you propose?
This, that I blindfold you.
Oh, I don't think I like the idea at all.
Well, in that case, sorry you've been troubled.
Oh, no, don't go. I said I'd trust you.
You're wise. So here's a perfectly unused hanky, and we'll start the blind man's buff game, eh? Comfortable?
Yes, thank you.
Good. Now, just about 10 minutes of exercise, and we'll be temporarily out of the wood. In the meantime, you can be telling me your name and a few other particulars, eh?
We are in a lift.
Definitely. Take my arm again. We're almost there.
And what's that?
Oh, only a buzzer. Someone waiting for the lift, I expect. Now in at the door. Enter, madame.
Thank you.
I'll have to ask you to keep the blindfold on a moment longer.
Where's the lady you were going to introduce me to?
That you?
Yes, open up the gadget, then dim the lights. Now we can remove the bandage.
Oh, what a relief.
Let me thank you for playing fair. I watched you very carefully. You didn't cheat.
Neither did you. I'm grateful.
Now, this is Miss Barbara of Havisham.
Can we trust this lady?
I'm certain of it. She's Miss Janet Joyce, and we've got to help her. If I am not mistaken, she's in a lot of strife.
I'm very certain of it.
Janet Joyce. I've heard of you somewhere.
Probably. I'm a cabaret artist at Max Spellman's Arcadia.
Oh, I see. Yes, I thought I knew the name. But what's the trouble?
Look, Barbara, give me your ears and I'll tell you the story of the night's adventures and how Rolland, Sir Galahad, rescued a maiden in distress.
My word, you did have a narrow escape, Miss Joyce.
What about me? I'm still trembling.
My dear, don't take any notice of him. Bullets just bounce off him.
Yes, and what about me jobbing a senior police officer on the jaw?
Oh, yes, that is serious. Do you think he saw your face?
No, I was on him too quickly.
What of his wallet and identification card?
My hat! I forgot to put it back in his pocket. I've still got it. Here it is.
Jonathan's service. You'll have to find some means of returning it at once.
I will, won't I? But forget it for the moment. I'm anxious to get to the bottom of Janet's trouble. Let's have it, Janet.
I really don't know what it is myself. I can't think I did anything wrong. I'd just finished my last song, and as I left the orchestra stand, my dress swept a little heart-shaped disc at my feet. It was Irene, so I picked it up and slipped it into my corsage and went to my dressing room. I'd no sooner put on my coat than there was a bang on the door, and Max Spellman came in a tearing rage.
Come on, you. Give it to me.
Is there any necessity for you to come bursting in here without knocking? This is my dressing room.
Don't get fussy. Just hand over what you picked up on the stage, my girl.
Mr. Spellman, I don't like your manner at all.
Manner or no manner. You were seen by Art Jennings, the saxophone player, to pick up something off the orchestra stage. Now, what was it? Come on, show it to me.
If you'll kindly get out of my dressing room, I'll return it. You see, I think it slipped down a little way, and I'll have to disrobe.
Get it now. Do you hear? I'm not giving you a chance to sidestep me. Now, listen. You do as I say, or shall I come and get it for myself?
Don't you dare. As you're blocking the door, I'm leaving by the window, and I'm not coming back.
Come back, you fool.
Art, Jacobs, get that girl. Get her for me. Dead if necessary, but get her.
And so, yet another adventure brings Rolland Fletcher into fresh excitement. This is something that always appeals to the Grey Goose.
I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
Quite unsuspecting, I find myself again engaged in night adventure. A damsel swept off the footpath by a car. I go to her rescue. Then the car, having made a circuit, opens fire. No shots register. Then again the car. More shots, and again we are missed. Hurriedly, I escort the lady into pastures new, as it were, or I hope so. Then come footsteps trailing us. Stopping suddenly, I lay a knockout on the trailer, only to find he's quite a big shot at the yard. One Jonathan Service, special branch. Consternation. However, Janet Joyce, that's the name of my salvage, a nightclub singer, and I eventually reach Barbara Favisham's flat. Here we get the girl's story. How she'd picked up a little Irene disc at the club and had then been threatened by the proprietor, Max Spellman.
And you got away through the dressing room window?
Yes.
And then Max and company set off in chase?
That's right. Well, then you know what happened, Mr. Fletcher. They tried to run me down with the car. That's when you came to help me.
After that, the shooting from the car, twice, mark you. Then the footsteps behind us. Then I jump the ladder and find I've KO'd a Scotland Yard bloke. Frightful.
And you've got his wallet and identification card.
Alas, yes. This is going to be very difficult to explain to Inspector Benford.
It is. Well, the first thing is to dispose of Janet.
I don't wish to be any trouble.
You won't be. But you'll have to lie low here for a time. They know where you live. They don't hesitate at attempted assassinations in the street. You've proved that.
Yes, indeed. But why all the fuss? What have I done?
The fact is, Janet, that little gadget you picked up off the orchestra stand...
The Irene disc.
That's what Max Spellman tried to get from you. The thing you tucked away in your,
Yes, of course. Excuse me and turn your back a moment. Miss Faversham, help me out, will you?
Of course.
Well, here it is. A very ordinary piece of stuff, isn't it?
Feels quite warm, doesn't it? Oh, yes, it would be, wouldn't it? Well, well, well. Now, why should Max Spellman try to kill you just because you picked this up?
Well, that's what I keep asking myself.
Just a heart-shaped little thing as big as a halfpenny? There's a little design on it. Did you notice?
No, I noticed nothing. I didn't even look at it. That's why I couldn't understand the fuss Max made of it.
Apparently your possession of this little trinket created a danger for Max.
But why, Rolly?
I don't know yet. In fact, I haven't a suspicion. But according to Janet and my own experience, Max and his merry men were prepared to kill Janet to get it back.
What is the design?
A scorpion. Janet, my dear, you've nursed a scorpion in your bosom this night.
Be serious, Rolly. What do you think this little tablet means? It could have had an ace of spades on it, as far as I can see.
But it didn't. It had a scorpion.
My father had some cufflinks with Masonic symbols on them.
Remind me some day to throw a book at you. Listen, in brief, this is just a souvenir token. Nothing in itself, but it has a zodiac sign on it. Still very unimportant.
It's exactly...
Quiet, wench. This little trinket, Scorpio, is a token, a sort of key to something. Now listen, Scorpio is one of the 12 signs of the zodiac.
Any ladies' journal will tell you that.
I know. Now, there may be a company of Scorpio, or else a company of 12. Each carry a little sign like this. Cancer the crab, Pisces the fish, Gemini the twins, and so on.
Mr. Fletcher, you have got something, I'm certain.
Good. I was sure the brain box was working. Let's go a step further. Scorpio is dropped by someone on the orchestra rostrum at the Arcadia Cabaret.
Yes, and Art Jennings saw me pick it up. Well, that's what Max Spellman said.
And he went to town about it. You know, I'm beginning to enjoy this. Now, if you two girls will kindly retire, you'll look after Miss Janet, won't you, Barbara?
Of course.
And you, Janet, will oblige Miss Faversham and myself in one very important thing.
What's that?
You will not, at any time, look out of these windows.
But
You will not. It will not be safe for you or us to know or be able to identify this place. You promise?
I promise.
Good. Now, Barbara, all lights out, please. Right. Now, you'll excuse me. I'm taking my leave of you.
What's happened? What was that funny noise? A sort of sliding.
He's gone.
Please turn the light on.
Of course.
But where did he go?
Oh, home, I expect.
Well, I was standing near the door. I'll swear he didn't go out that way. He's very mysterious, isn't he? Who is he?
Perhaps it'll be better if you don't inquire too much. Just trust him.
Oh, I do. He saved my life tonight.
I can quite understand your annoyance, Inspector, at getting a phone call at this hour.
Oh, so it's you again. One of these days, Mr. Grey Goose, you'll have to ring up from one of our best prisons.
Oh, I do hope not. However, let's not waste the precious moments of liberty in badinage. The fact is, I am making the very gravest inquiry about the health of one of your valued police officers.
It's very well, and I'll give him your love in the morning.
Wait, my dear fellow. Don't be hasty. You haven't asked me to which officer I refer.
All right, I'll ask you. To whom do you refer?
One Detective Inspector Jonathan Service.
Service? Why are you so curious about him?
I'm not, I hope, unduly curious, but just between you and me and the gatepost, is he on a special assignment?
I can't answer that.
Thank you. I see he is.
Oh, confound you, man.
Have you seen him lately?
No.
Strange, isn't it? Doesn't he report in?
Officers on special assignments don't have to.
Then he hasn't. Thank you, Inspector. I'm answered again.
Now, listen to me. If you know the whereabouts of Jonathan Service, kindly notify my office at once.
Do I detect a little note of anxiety, Inspector?
Oh, go to blazes!
Dear old Ben. He certainly gave the game away. Jonathan Service is on special duty. Hasn't reported. They're a bit anxious at headquarters. I'm sorry I had to knock him out. Ah, well, now to get Charlie Austin down to Max Spellman's Arcadia nightclub.
it, Charlie?
Yes, Mr. Hicks. I've done what you said over the phone.
Good. Is this the door?
That's right. Open and ready. For safety, like. That there window 3 down is the ladies' dressing room.
So you've given everything the once-over?
That's so. Case most of the joint. Ballroom, orchestra room, dressing rooms.
The office?
I couldn't get near. They was there till about 10 minutes ago.
Ah. You watched them leave?
That's so. What are we looking for, Mr. Hicks?
That I don't quite know. But I must have a look at Max Spellman's office. You know where it is?
Yeah. Just behind that there orchestra platform.
Then come on. Quiet. The door?
Not very easy, Mr. Hicks. But we'll give it a go. Oh,
no good.
Blimey, Mr. Hicks, it's a steel door. Wants a blowtorch, if you ask me.
That's not so good. We haven't got a blowtorch.
Isn't that a pity? Put your hands up, my friends. This gun is an argument.
Under the circumstances, I'll not hesitate.
Blimey, a fair cop.
Indeed, yes, a fair cop. But as you are so anxious to get into my room, I propose to open the door myself. So, a little button of which only I am aware. Get inside. Now, let me have a look at you. Well, well, well. Just a couple of ordinary thugs. What do you want? It's funny, you know. When I looked up tonight, I had a feeling that something was going to happen.
Oh, did you?
Yes. I'd had a little trouble earlier, you see. And somehow I was restless. Funny, eh?
Right. It's funny. So what?
Strange, you know. You especially don't strike me as an ordinary burglar. Now, what are you doing here? Answer.
You've said it yourself. Burglars.
Is that all? Somehow I don't reckon you're telling the truth. Listen, Muggs. I didn't come back here alone.
I didn't think you'd have the pluck to.
Shut up. Now don't move. Alec.
Come in, boss. So you got both of them?
Yes, both, Alec. They don't seem to want to talk. Can you do anything about it?
Sure. I can do lots.
So you're Alec?
Yes, that's me. Take a good look before I cut your eyes out.
Very nice sentiments you have, Alec. Gets you into trouble at times, no doubt?
Yes.
Yes. You appear to have run into a door. What happened to your jaw? That must have been a mighty punch you
You backpedal, hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Now shut up. You too, Alec. There's plenty of time to get going. But perhaps these boys would answer a question or two first.
That's where we started, isn't it?
True. But I warn you to do as I say. Alec isn't very nice in his methods. Now come over here to my desk. Come.
All right, I'll come, but don't point that gun at me.
Come on and don't argue.
Right, stop him, Charlie! I'll stop this one.
Now, Brother Max Spellman, have a little sleep.
That was a smart one, Mr. Hicks. Tipped the old desk over on him.
A very old trick, Charlie. How's friend Alec?
Very restful, I reckon. I gave him a clip on the other side of his jaw and he laid down with a beautiful smile. I wonder who put his face out of straight before.
I think I did, but more of that anon. There's something very screwy here.
I reckon there is too.
How do you think you'd act if you owned a nightclub and, coming back for your umbrella, as it might be, you encountered a couple of burglars?
Reckon I'd give him the nightclub.
No. Not if you had a revolver like Max did. Give you another guess, Charlie.
Well, send for the police?
Of course. Now, why didn't Max Spellman?
That's right. We was on his property, nefarious-like.
You notice the walls of this office are covered with war trophies, Charlie? Old swords, pistols and whatnot?
Yeah?
During our little set, too, one of those swords fell down out of the scabbard. Hand it over, Charlie, and I'll show you a very strong reason why friend Max did not send for the police.
Now what has Rolland Fletcher stumbled on? Follow the interesting development of this adventure of the Grey Goose.
I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
My meeting with Janet Joyce was, as you've heard, made under a hail of bullets. Apparently, she was to be disposed of, probably on account of her picking up a little disc of Irene stamped with a scorpion. Max Spellman, owner of the Arcadia nightclub, seemed to want this very badly, and almost assassinated the girl. Fortunately, I was able to hand her over for safekeeping to Barbara. Then I contacted Charlie Austin, and in the wee small hours we entered the club, somewhat feloniously, but were surprised by Spellman and his coverman, Alec. Luckily, a chance turned up, and between us, we emerged the victors after a short battle in Spellman's office.
Here's the sword, Mr. X.
Good. During our little fracas, Charlie, this was knocked off the wall and fell out of the scabbard. Incidentally, our unconscious friend Spellman has, as I just pointed out, quite a collection of weapons on his wall. But to return to the sword that fell off. Did you notice anything?
Oh, sort of powdery, eh?
Yes. Be careful not to sniff any of it. That powder, my friend, is a narcotic. Cocaine, heroin, or what have you.
Dope.
Definitely. Very astute of our friend Charlie. Look around you. Mills bombs, swords in scabbards, daggers, jackknives. Take any one down and... lo and behold.
Blimey. There's a fortune here, isn't there?
Are you getting ideas? Tut, tut, tut.
Straight. I wouldn't handle the stuff for $1 million.
That's fine. Well, now, hang the sword back. Good. The moment has come, my Charlie, when we pay a little attention to our unconscious friends.
Let's kick 'em to death.
Charlie, where do you get your Mickey Spillanes from? No, old chap. We frisk 'em. And how? Frisk 'em to the skin, even to the cavities of their very objectionable teeth. You take Alec, and I'll take friend Max Spellman.
If we happen to disturb 'em, we pats 'em back to sleep.
The very idea.
Yeah. This chap Alec must have had a good day. 20 quid in his pocket.
Get his wallet if he has one. Turn it inside out. Strip it.
Nothing much else. Now I'm through to the skin. Shall I pull a few hairs off his chest as a souvenir?
By Jove, got one.
Got what, Mr. Hicks?
Look among your souvenirs, Charlie, or rather Alex. Did you find anything like this?
Yes, here it is. Smaller, art-shaped disc affair.
What's it got stamped on it?
Oh, looks like a fish.
Pisces the fish.
Eh?
Now, look at this one I found on Max.
A lion, by the looks of it.
You're quite right, Charles. Leo the lion. This Spellman looks to me like the boss of an outfit of 12.
Ain't you doing a bit of rambling, Mr. Hicks?
Somehow I don't think so, Charlie. Sorry I can't explain just now, but I'll tell you this much. There are 12 signs of the zodiac. I have inadvertently come upon 3 people carrying 3 of them on Irene discs.
All Greek to me.
At present, yes, but listen. All 3 I've come in contact with have been connected with this Arcadia nightclub.
Lottery tokens, maybe, eh?
And the main office of the club is a cache for illicit drugs.
And what do we do about it?
Nothing for the moment, except tie our good friends up very securely and get a move on out of here. Now, get busy. All right, Charlie. Douse the light, close and lock the door. By the way, there's Alec's 20 quid on the table.
There is.
And about 50 of Spellman's. Bring it along. It's not a fortune, but it'll help. Right. Now the door.
Help! Did you hear that, Mr. X?
Was that someone calling?
Help! Help!
Watch out for a trap, Mr. Hicks.
Of course. Let's move in that direction. Quiet.
Help! Help!
Getting warm.
Certainly nearer. Carry on.
Over this way! Help!
Just near us, I reckon.
Help!
I know. Charlie, it's under the band rostrum.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Help me. Under the band. Go from the back.
Right. Coming.
Careful, Mr. Hicks.
You bet. Look, we've got to get to the back. Oh, dash it, the rostrum's only about 3 feet high. Come on. Now we crawl.
You still there?
Yes. Yes, over here.
Charlie, you go left, I'll go right. If it's a trap, we can't both get caught. Now, get a wriggle on.
Hurry.
Well, you're no trap fella. Tied up and bashed.
Get me out. Help me.
All right, Charlie, lend a hand. This bloke's nearly out to it. Heave. Heave. Heave.
Well, we're all clear now.
Get your knife, Charlie. He's bound up like a mummy.
Made a proper job of him.
Thanks, chaps. I don't know how long I've been in there.
Who are you?
Oh.
Confound it, he's fainted. I say, Charlie, we've got to get him out of here. Look, son, pull yourself together. Come on, come on. Who are you?
Serve.
Go on, man, try.
Service.
Service. Jonathan Service. Great Scott, I've got it. Look, fella, we'll get you onto that lounge. Come on. You'll be comfortable there. That's it. Now, don't move. It'll be dangerous for you. Get me? Now, stay here until we get back.
Thanks.
See you in a few moments. Come on, Charlie. Back to the lion's den.
He ain't a decoy.
By Jove, no. You just listen to me. That fellow, unless I'm much mistaken, is so full of information of value that Scotland Yard is going to run out a red carpet when he arrives.
The Yard?
Yes, Charlie. None other but. For your private ear, that nearly bumped-off specimen is none other than Jonathan Service, Inspector, Special Branch.
Is that so?
If it isn't, I'll eat Max Spellman and his little friend Alec. Now, here we are, and keep your eyes open. Well. How are we feeling now, Max? Take the gags out, Mr. Austin. Don't be too careful with the dentures.
Come on, you lugs. Open for Daddy.
I'll get you for this.
Somehow I don't think so.
Listen, what's your lurk? If a few quid can square things...
Neither 100 quid nor 1,000 quid will square things. I'm not trading with a dope peddler.
No such thing in the Arcadia.
I've formed my own opinion about that, Mr. Leo the Lion.
Leo? How...
Shut up. I want to have a word with little Alec here, alias Pisces the Fish.
I ain't saying nothing.
No? Charlie, try the old jugular vein treatment.
Eh? Better speak, pal.
This hurts.
Release the pressure, Mr. Austin.
I shan't speak.
Charlie, just a little more, Mr. Austin.
No.
Watch this, Spellman. It might be your turn.
No.
How now, Alec? Nod your head. Aha, he nods. Fine. So, how was it you were travelling around with a Scotland Yard identification card, one belonging to Inspector Service?
He was nosing around here.
Hold your tongue, Alec.
Shut up, you. He was on duty, that's what you mean?
Yes, nosing around.
So you bumped him off and impersonated him?
You damn fool. I told you to go gently.
I did. I did.
Your idea of gently is all wrong. I regret to say, Alec, he's dead.
No!
I just found him under the band rostrum.
I tell you, I only stunned him.
Tied him up and left him without food and water. That's murder, Alec.
No.
And that brings you into the picture, Spellman. You're an accessory. Understand that?
It's not so.
You can't get out of it, rat. You see, all the evidence is against you.
What evidence?
The evidence that the Arcadia is a depository of dope. A distribution centre with 12 operators. Yourself, Leo the Lion...
Doesn't much like a lion now, does he?
I tell you, you're raving.
It's you who are doing the raving, Spellman. Now listen, you. You will write me 12 names.
I won't.
You will? 3 of them I know. Yourself, Alec here, and the sax player, Art Jennings. He, incidentally, is Scorpio. I, by the way, have these 3 tokens. Take a look at them.
By heavens, if I could move, I'd tear you limb from limb.
But you can't move, my dear fellow. So what? Now, just stay there like nice little lions and fishes till I come back.
Alec, if I could get out of this, there'd be another murder.
Sir, mister, don't leave me alone here with him.
Shut up. Oh, just a little token of my esteem, gentlemen. A grey goose feather. Come on, Charles.
Alec, if I could get what are you talking about?
Lock the door.
Just a couple of lovebirds.
Do you know something, Charlie?
I don't know nothing. I'm in a daze.
I myself am terribly relieved. You see, I've just found out I didn't knock out a policeman.
I don't get it.
Sometime you will. Now, back to our invalid, Jonathan Service. Well, how do you feel?
Fair, Blighter's fair done up. What do we do?
We get him outside. You get my car and take him to your place and hide him. He won't give you any trouble. It'll be a week before he'll be fit again. And don't let him see your face. Right?
Right.
You again?
Yes, Inspector. We're like a pair of importunate lovers, aren't we, this constant phoning?
Fine time of night to choose to ring me. All right, spill whatever it is.
Well, there's nothing to spill yet. I'm just making an inquiry.
Go on, go on.
When is your birthday? The date?
Thinking of sending me one of your confounded feathers?
Well, that is a thought. But seriously, the date, please.
The 27th of May. And I hope to see you hung, drawn, and quartered on that day.
Well, how very savage you sound, which is quite unusual for Gemini.
For what?
Gemini, Inspector. Gemini, yes. That is the sign of the zodiac under which you were born.
And confound it, man, you've got me out of bed for that.
Oh, there's more to come. Don't be impatient. In your post this morning, there will be 3 little Irene discs, each with a zodiac sign. Leo the lion, Pisces the fish, and Scorpio the scorpion. There are 9 more to come. The whole 12 are identification discs of a ring of dope traffickers. Yes, dope traffickers. Good night, Inspector.
It is apparent now that Fletcher has probed to some effect. But can he find the 9 remaining discs and their owners? That's a point we'll learn in the next adventure of The Grey Goose.
I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
So the encounter with Janet Joyce led me to the little discs, each one bearing a sign of the zodiac. Putting 2 and 2 together, I sensed a ring of 12, the discs being a sort of mark of identity. Incidentally, a special branch man, Jonathan Service, was obviously on their track, but they'd spotted him, beaten him up, and hidden him under the band rostrum of the Arcadia. Charlie Austin took the unconscious and almost dead man home to his place. Then I returned to our 2 captives at the nightclub.
Who's that?
Just myself. I've come back to see if you've changed your mind. I asked you for a list of 9 people, each one carrying a disc bearing a zodiac sign.
I won't write it.
But you will, my friend. You see, I've caught on to the fact that each one of those men, or women, is a distributor of narcotics stored here at the Arcadia Club.
You're talking through your hat.
Be civil, my friend. You and Alec here are securely tied up, so watch out I don't take advantage of that fact and try treading on your ugly faces or something equally drastic. Now, the dope is here in this room.
There isn't any.
Quite by accident, that sword and scabbard fell off the wall. It was a very ingenious cache for dope. All your war trophies, of which you have so many displayed round the walls, are containers. Look, sonny boy, this Mills bomb. Unscrew the base. So, what have we? Dope again.
I reckon he's got the acid on us, Max. Let's do a deal.
Good advice, Alec. But I'm not open for a deal. Not with murderers, anyhow.
I ain't done no murder.
No? What of Inspector Jonathan Service, whose ticket you took and then you impersonated?
But he ain't dead. He's where I put him, under the band rostrum.
So it was you scum. For your comfort, his body's been taken away. But both of you are in for murder, and how do you like it?
It's all your fault, Alec. I told you to go easy. Oh, if I could only get at you, I'd choke the life out of you.
Well, you can't. But I'll tell you what I'll do. If you'll write me the names of the missing 9...
What will you do?
Give you a chance at Alec.
No, you can't.
I can't? Oh, yes, I can. Now, Max Spellman, here's a paper and pen. What about it? Will you write those 9 names?
How can I? I'm tied up.
I'll free your right arm. Well?
I'll do anything to get even with that skunk.
Thank you. Now, to unloose this arm. No funny tricks. Now, let me help you up. We must, of course, put the desk back on the horizontal. Funny you fell for an old trick like that. Now, Right.
Listen, he'll double-cross you and write phony names.
Oh, you wouldn't do that, Max.
No, I...
Right. Addresses too, please. Thank you. Take your time.
That's the lot.
And none of them is phony?
None.
I'm so glad. Now, Alec, you have the opportunity of proving your boss is an honest man.
What do you mean?
Just this. You'll call out the 9 names one by one. You can't see what Max has written from there. As you call, I'll check. Start. Don't worry about the Christian names and addresses. Max has done his bit very well.
Dempsey, Virgo. Morgan, Taurus. Faber, Libra. Marnie, Sagittarius. Gawler, Capricorn. Maychamp, Aquarius.
Go on.
Leamington, Cancer. Joel, Aries. Scorpio is Art Jennings.
I got that one. Then there's you, Alec, Pisces, and our friend Max, Leo. Thanks, Alex. Incidentally, your boss was honest, for once.
Well, now what are you going to do?
I'm supplying Scotland Yard with all this information, and thus, my dear souls, your little ring of distributors will no longer exist. Now, time passes. I must be on my way.
Aren't you going to let us loose?
Does a man empty a bag of poisonous flakes on the floor? No, Alec, but like Max, I'll free your right arm. So, now you're both even. But even in that condition, you'll not be able to reach any knots, I assure you.
Haven't you got any feelings?
None where you're concerned. Oh, one other thing. Here are 2 guns, 1 each, both loaded. I place them so, on the middle of the desk. Now, wriggle all you like. It'll take you many minutes to reach them. What do you propose to do with them?
I'll plug that cowardly devil, Alec, first.
Like hell you will.
All right, then. Go to it. Remember, the one that survives goes up for the murder of Inspector Service. Sorry not to stay and see the fun. Well, the fireworks can't start till one of them reaches the desk. Just time for a word with Inspector Ford when I find the telephone. And yes, Inspector, the names and addresses will reach you in the morning. When you round the people up, make sure you search each for the identification discs as noted.
Where are you calling from?
The Arcadia Club. And don't forget, when you come here, to search every one of those lethal weapons hanging on the wall.
Very well. I suppose it's no use asking you where you come in on this?
Not a bit. I'm so sorry. I've done all I can.
All right, I'm coming along.
Fighting it out. In the dark, too. Well, I think I'll stay and see some of the fun. Yes, I'll occupy that little niche in the band rostrum. Bullseye, I think. Obviously no real casualties yet.
All right. All right, now stand by while I open this door and look out for squalls. These fellas are gun happy.
Very quiet. All dark, Inspector.
All right, come out, both of you, or we're coming in to get you. Pickett, reach round, your hand only, and switch on the light.
Yes, sir. Well, what a shambles. Been a gunfight.
All right, we can go in, I think. These jokers can't do us any harm. Both dead, Pickett?
Very much so, Inspector. Been a regular slaughter. They're both tied up.
Except their right arms. This hasn't been a slaughter, it's been a gun duel. Oh. Can you see? All right, I've got it.
A feather, sir.
Exactly, a Grey Goose feather.
Then he's been here.
Yes, I have been here. Happy hunting, Inspector. See you later.
What the devil?
Everybody! Close all exits. Chase anyone you see and bring him to me. Never mind these fellas, they can't get away. I want that man. That's the Grey Goose. Tear this place apart.
Got him safe, Charlie?
Yeah.
And he's coming too. I gave him some soup and a spot of the doings. Brandy. Reckon he'll be all right.
He didn't see where you brought him.
Not likely. But he'll begin to take notice soon.
Then we'll have to get rid of him in quick time. Let me have a look at him.
Come on this way.
Who's that?
It's all right, chum. How do you feel?
Better now, and thanks. Who are you?
Sorry we can't enlighten you. That's why, if you don't mind, we'll dispense with the light. Look, if you are fit to travel, we propose delivering you to Scotland Yard.
Really?
Yes, and what's more, here's your wallet and identification card. Apparently somebody at the Arcadia borrowed them.
That's right. You see, I was on special narcotic duty, and Max Spellman and the Arcadia came under suspicion. I got right onto it, and then they tumbled to me.
Yes, all right. Well, now, once back at the yard, you can tell them the whole works. Cheerio. Oh, by the way, in the wallet you'll find a little keepsake from me. Incidentally, I'm glad it wasn't you I cracked down.
As I frequently mentioned in these memoirs, there are certain scenes at which I was, of course, not present. The details, however, came to me later. A case in point was the safe arrival of Inspector Jonathan Service at Scotland Yard and his conversation with Inspector Ford.
Well, it was fine work, Service. That plague, the Grey Goose, stole some of your thunder. Max and Alec, your two best suspects, shot it out in the dark, both dead.
But how?
An ingenious arrangement by the Grey Goose. When we discovered him dead, we found his feather on the spot.
Well, I'm darned.
We've also 10 other names of the dope peddlers, all of whom have been contacted and will undoubtedly be pulled in a few hours.
Funny thing, Inspector. When that bloke and his pal rescued me and then brought me here, they gave me my wallet and identification card, which had been stolen from me.
Good. And in the wallet, I bet...
was a Grey Goose feather.
Oh, Lord, I win. I knew it.
Before he left, he said something rather funny.
Oh? What?
He said, "By the way, I'm glad it wasn't you I cracked down." Can you think why?
Yes, I can. He told me over the phone he'd KO'd a man who was following him and whose wallet he found was yours. He was very worried to find his victim was a police officer.
Well, there's the story, Barbara. And now it's all over, bar the shouting. Janet can get another job in another nightclub.
And the members of the 12?
All awaiting trial. And not one of them will get less than 5 years for dope peddling.
I was looking at the list you gave me.
Yes?
Would you believe it? Leamington and Marnie...
Cancer and Sagittarius in the dope ring?
...are another two of the syndicate, Dad's syndicate.
Well. Now, isn't that fine? Have a drink, Barbara, while you cross off another 2 names.
I will. Have you seen the paper yet?
No? What's on?
Just a little notice. Shall I read it?
Please do.
The Sisters of St. Joseph's Mobile Canteen thank the gentleman who last night left an envelope with them containing £70. By the feather left inside the envelope, they realized the donor was the Grey Goose.
Fancy. I could only find £70 in Max Spellman's Arcadia.
And thus, in his role of the modern Robin Hood, Rolland Fletcher wins out again. But there are more adventures in store.